Yeah, we'll go, lads and lasses. Newcastle United versus, of course, Bournemouth, or Bournemouth versus Newcastle, down at the Vitality Stadium tomorrow in the 2 o'clock slot, live on Sky Sports. And I mean, since Eddie Howe left Bournemouth in 2020 to come to Newcastle United, we have surprisingly failed to beat the Cherries in 6 straight Premier League meetings, home and away. The only victory Howe has managed against his former side, of course, came in the Carabao Cup back in 2022, a tight 1-0 win at St James's Park. That record gives us a lot of extra space to this game, of course, tomorrow when we go against Bournemouth down at the Vitality Stadium, and hopefully Howe can finally break that league hoodoo. Looking at, of course, the Bournemouth team news going into this one, Iraola's side, of course, have enjoyed a rare free week after their early Carabao Cup exit, and they'll be fresher for it as well. So there's going to be a few players ruled out for them. Unal and Adam Smith will remain out for Bournemouth for this game. Ryan Christie and Dakate are expected to be fit and available for this one. And looking at, of course, the form for Bournemouth, but before we do that, we will talk about, of course, the team news on the Newcastle side of stuff for us. And our selection headaches are piling up, of course, at the moment. Gordon, of course, serves the final game of his domestic suspension. He will be back, of course, for the next game after this. Jacob Ramsey and Johan Wissa will remain sidelined with penciled in returns when Newcastle visit Brighton on October 18th. And Fabian Schär, of course, is ruled out by concussion protocols after being subbed against Barcelona. He, of course, stays stuck at 199 Premier League appearances for Newcastle, and will also miss the upcoming Bradford City game and the Arsenal game as well, due to that concussion protocol after getting smacked in the face by Marcus Rashford's shot in the Champions League game gone on Thursday night there. There's a fitness doubt as well over Kieran Trippier, who limped off during Thursday night's Champions League defeat to Barcelona as well. But let's go into talking about the form for Bournemouth. Bournemouth started the season pretty brightly. 3 wins from 4 in the league. Home victories over Wolves, Brighton, plus a superb away triumph against Spurs, having only been blemished by a loss at Anfield to Liverpool on the opening day of the season. I've got to say, however, though, I was watching that game. Bournemouth were really good, and they were very unlucky to come away on the end of the defeat like they did. But confidence at the moment, you know, for Bournemouth fans, I'm sure must be running absolutely high around the Vitality, around Bournemouth itself right now. You know, they're doing really good. 3 wins out of 4 in the league. That's a fantastic return on performances. And it's looking at some of the teams that have played there. You know, Wolves, obviously, are struggling at the moment. Brighton, it's a good side, but again, you know, having some slight moments of struggle. Spurs, of course, in there, and then Liverpool, you know, as well. So it's been a mixed bag of games against 2 big teams, 2 what you would call mid-table teams in Wolves and Brighton, 2 big teams in what you would call, of course, Spurs and Liverpool. And, you know, they've gotten 3 out of 4 wins there. So it's going to be a tough one. It always is when we go to the Vitality Stadium. It's always a very tough ground to go to. And looking at us, however, we've had a mixed bag of results in a mixed bag of form at the moment. We've been really, really good with form. We've looked absolutely amazing when we've been playing the games, but we've just been lacking that clinical edge to finish off teams and be able to get the finishing touch in that final third. And now that we have Nick Voltemade in, you know, and we've got a striker there that we can play with up front, that is obviously going to be a huge boost for it. It's going to now allow it to be able to have that finishing touch, hopefully, in the final third. And we're seeing it a bit in the game against Wolves, you know, when Voltermeer's got his opening goal and finally got on the score sheet, you know, for his debut game for it. But, I mean, we've got to shake off this European disappointment quickly against Barcelona. We've got to get back into that chase for that top 4 place. We need to get the points on the board because we haven't been doing well at all in the league. And other than the displays that we're putting in, we're showing the quality. We're just not seeing the quality in the results. And looking at the key numbers, of course, for the past games that we've played against Bournemouth down at the Vitality Stadium, we've got 2 draws in there and a loss. Most recent one being a 1-1 draw in the season before that for the 23-24 season was a 2-0 loss to Bournemouth. Season before that for the 22-23 was a 1-1 draw against Bournemouth. And the referee for the game will be Rob Jones, taking charge. His first Newcastle game assigned this season. His last officiated Magpies game, of course, was a 3-0 win at Leicester back in April. And on 4, it is Matt Donoghue, a new guy to the VAR booth. But what can we literally expect going into this game? I mean, like I've said, you know, Bournemouth are really good. They look very good under Iraola. And I'd expect them to press aggressively and try and exploit any, you know, post-Barcelona fatigue that we might have in with squad. We've just got to control with depth as well. We've got to push that to the limit that we can. And we're going to need that leadership from the likes of Bruno, because that's going to be crucial for this game. These are the games where, you know, you need the leaders, and I'm sure Bruno will live up to that. Bruno will do his absolute best, as he always does, especially, you know, with Kieran Trippier, who might not be able to start this game due to, you know, the problems that he's picked up with him limping off there in the game against Barcelona on Thursday night at St James's. But keep an eye on, you know, Nick Voltermeer. I think he'll start again in this game. Hopefully he starts off from where he left off in Wolves game. Obviously we've seen him at Thursday night. He came on and he did some really good stuff as well in that game against Barcelona. But this is always one of them grounds where you go, you know, and it's going to be a tough game. And we've just got to pretty much put our head down, get into it. It just seems to be at the moment that it is a bit of a voodoo team to play. They are, you know, a tough team to play at the moment. For some reason, it just seems to be the way it is. Eddie just seems to have a problem, you know, with trying to get the result going, other than that Carabao Cup one back in 2022. You know, you've heard it there. We've failed to beat the Cherries in 6 straight Premier League meetings, home and away. So we are having a bit of a problem against them. But hopefully come tomorrow, after the match is finished, it will be Newcastle United with all 3 points in the bag. Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. Any Cherries fans watching, any Bournemouth fans watching, of course, let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. And I'm going to go with score prediction. I'm going to back the lads. I want to come away from the Vitality Stadium with the win in the bag, and I'm going to go for Newcastle to come away 2-1 winners against Bournemouth tomorrow in that 2 o'clock kickoff, live on Sky Sports down at the Vitality Stadium on the South Coast, as Eddie Howe returns once again to his old kicking ground. And of course Tyndall as well, and a bunch of the coach and staff return back to the old kicking ground of the Vitality Stadium for the Eddie Howe derby. Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. Till next time, hit that like, share, subscribe to the channel, and how are the lads?